Alright guys, it's been another week and I've managed to get myself another fight. Though this one is going to be a bit of a change of pace, as it's not a fight that I outright won, and kind of a more interesting trade-off, and I really wanted to show you it, just because it'll help you get into the mind of some of the self-criticism that I do, which is the reason why I record my fleets in the first place. And that's something that I recommend, all newer FCs or FCs that are trying to really up their game go and do. Just because you're going to see so much more when you actually watch back the footage. You're going to see things that you missed when you were just, actually in the moment. Because now that you're in a less stressful environment and you can pause and rewind, you can really start to see the things that you're not paying a huge amount of attention to as an FC and work on that. Anyway, this fight started with me being in 9UI on the 4B tag gate, having set up a bubble camp after being scouted the whole way up the pipe by what I know is a Providence FC's scout character. That means that it's most likely that Providence is forming, but alongside that I also have eyes on a healer gang belonging to the alliance of Project Gungnir, which is in and of itself a somewhat sizable threat given that they're likely 100 men fit, which will hurt the ability of my rails to apply to them and make them really difficult for me to pin down in an engagement. So when I see that fleet and the Provi Munnins fleet arrive at separate pings off of the gate, I get the sense that I'm about to be the meat in a third-party sandwich. But given what happened last time I fought Providence, I feel it's probably just karma. Still, I want to take advantage of everything I possibly can, so I jump through to the other side of the gate into 4B in order to set up. And trying to get my opponents to jump into me is something that you'll see me do a lot, as being set up on grid allows you the ability to dictate, at least for a short while, the range that your opponents are going to be at in comparison to you. This means that if you expect to fight a really kitey doctrine like Munnins tend to be, it can be your only chance to really land substantial close-range damage to them and get those opening picks that will help to weight the fight in your favour, especially as logistics are often too busy anchoring and chaining up and won't get to repping broadcasts instantly, like they will later on in the fight. Now I will note that deciding to just use that advantage and force the fight to happen right here is potentially a mistake. And if I was really tryharding this for a timer or something like that, I probably would have either feigned a retreat or done something else to try and split these two fleets apart, rather than facing them at once. And the reason you'd really want to do that is just to try and make sure that you can trade off really efficiently in the first, 30 to 60 seconds of the fight, and hopefully reduce down the impact of one of those two fleets to the point where they're not really affecting you and you're, kind of on even numbers. For example, if I'd been able to kill off, 6 or 7 healers, having caught them on their own, that would mean that that healer fleet then isn't going to really impact the rest of the fight. And I can concentrate all my efforts on the Munnins fleet and ignore that healer fleet until much later. However, when I'm running Spectre fleets, I prefer to just, take any fight that's offered to me. I'll always take the bait. And that's just because it's the path of least resistance, and it's also what the vast majority of the people who join Spectre fleets are looking for in the first place. And that's important. You want to give your guys the fun that they want. So, whilst we wait for Providence and their allies to jump into this fight, let's take a look at the compositions that are being brought to the field. First up we have Providence's fleet, which is a lot better crafted than the Macario fleet I fought last time, with 35 Munnins, 5 Scimitars and a handful of Scythes, along with a Hugin to provide application support and a pair of command destroyers to give them full boosts, as well as the usual bevy of tackle that Providence brings. And fighting alongside Providence for this engagement we have the Project Gungnir healer fleet, which has a DPS core of 12 healers supported by 4 basilisks, 3 command ships, 2 Hugins, a Lachesis and a pair of interceptors. And then we have the Spectre fleet that I was FCing, which consisted of much the same ships as last time, with a core of 37 Brutixes, 5 Scimitars, 3 Scythes, and that's all supported by a trio of boosting Drakes, a Hugin and a Loki. We also had a small team of command destroyers who were trying to do boost things, and a smattering of light tackle as always. And that finishes the setup, so let's get right into the fight itself. This guy first. Pepe Eater. Okay, now on to this Munnins. After that we're going to go on this Munnins. Now you might think it's a little too early to be pausing the video here, but this is actually the point at which I made my first mistake in the fight, by just not realising that the healers had jumped in and decloaked, for about 20 to 30 seconds after this point, despite the fact that they're on my overview. And that doesn't sound like a lot of time, but when you're dealing with a 100-men fleet, you want to really catch them in that moment before they've been able to spool them up and start to get that huge amount of transversal speed sorted, because their fits don't have a lot of EHP in order to be able to fit those prop mods in the first place. And what I could have done at this point is probably MWD on top of them and really get in on those basilisks and just deny the Project Gungnir fleet their logistics and probably force them to warp off as a result of that. Good job. Now onto Sankai. After that we're going to go on Shinde for life. After that we're going to go on Keebsby.
Hey, whoever's warden is assisting my dictator, please
shut up, please! Then we're going to go on to the healer of Orkton. Then we're going to go on the healer of Soma. Okay, swap over to Orkton, Orkton is primary. Orkton is primary in the healer. Logi, how are we doing? Are we losing stuff? I assume so.
Yeah.
How badly?
Fast.
Okay. Swap over to the Munnins broadcast of Electro. Reload to Antimatter. Swap over to the broadcast of Electro. Swap to Antimatter, then Electro. Antimatter, then Electro. Okay, there you can hear my target calling get really messy as I'm trying to figure out my game plan after intel from the logistics. I try and switch over to the healers, but that doesn't work because they've already picked up speed. So I go back onto some Munnins, and that just causes a lot of disruption, and because of that we lose a lot of DPS during a critical moment in the fight. Trickster is primary. There we go, there we go. Come on, stay on him. Yeah, he. Okay, awesome. Then we're going to go on Shin. How many Brutixes do we have left?
I'll keep you updated, mate, with fleet comp.
Okay, awesome. Shin is primary.
8 capsules.
Okay, never mind. We're going to swap onto Dagon. Dagon is primary. After that, we're going to go on the Scythe of Lumios. Good job. Okay, bye. Then this Scythe. Then this Scimitar.
They were it in pods.
Sorry, switch off of that guy, Okay, and then after that we have what I think is one of my best calls in this whole fleet fight. And as you can see, before this we're really just struggling to actually concentrate down on one single target, because I've broadcasted so many in the past couple of minutes that people just haven't really caught up, they haven't locked the right things. So I slow down, I broadcast some targets that I know are going to die, and I broadcast them one by one, so that we can make sure people understand where the rhythm is, get everyone back on track, and then start shooting other targets. Onto this Munnin, the Munnin of Gilas. Load thorium ammo at this point, load thorium ammo. If you're not getting hits, load thorium. Load thorium. Come on, good job, we're still killing stuff. Razenver is primary.
Only 4 more Brutixes down, you've got 70% of the fleet left alive.
Okay, awesome. Now Raven. We lost another one. Still losing Brutixes pretty heavily.
My head's down.
Okay, no worries. Swap over to... Sorry, cancel that broadcast. Swap, Regio guns. Primary is going to be Odysseus in the Scimitar. Here I notice that the Provi Scimitar wing is about to get way out of position and drift too close to us, so I just get my webs on them and we go to town. Come on! Good job! Now onto Jid. Sorry, now onto Bid. Bid is primary. MWD's off now. Onto Bid. Good job, we're just picking a guy who's out of position here. He's gonna die. Good job. After that, let's go on to the Scimitar of Carbi. The Scimitar of Carbi.
$18 Brutixes left.
No worries. Yeah, we're gonna die here, but we're gonna take a lot down with us. It's gonna be great. Come on, kill him, kill him, kill him. Damn it. Unlock him, unlock him, unlock him. B-Raptor is gonna be primary. B-Raptor is gonna be primary.
Friendly bushes go after enemy Logi.
B-Raptor is primary, guys. B-Raptor is primary. And here I just take the opportunity to shamelessly headshot their FC as he zooms out of range of his logistics. Good job. Now onto Solar. And because B-Raptor was that anchor, that means that we now have a ton of Munnins just sitting still right in front of us. After that, we're going to go on Mahiles. Come on, come on, come on. Heat.
Still at 18 Brutixes, all your Logi still alive.
Alright, awesome. Come on, stay on him, stay on him. Good job, good job, good job. Now onto Mahez. After that, we're going to go on Hiron. Cancel. Yep, stay on Mahez. Stay on Mahez, we're breaking him. Never mind, never mind, never mind. Go on to Count Darwin, go on to Count Darwin. Count Darwin is primary, Count Darwin is primary. We're probably going to die here now. I think most of us are already dead, but we're going to take out this final Munnin, I think. Come on, get him, boys. No, we aren't going to break him. Just stay on him for a little bit, stay on him for a little bit. I'm looking for any cheaper targets we can take down.
10 Brutix left.
Yeah, I see. I know we're gonna lose at this point. Swap onto this Rupture, the Rupture of Vladiv. Alright, so now as the fight's winding down and I've kind of lost critical mass to be able to break Munnins, it's probably a good time to point out the key mistake that I'm making here, and that I've made throughout the fight, which is not really using my MWD to position at all. I used it at the start, and I used it for a couple of bursts just to get on top of the scimitars that when I'd been able to catch them out of position. But that's really it, and that's not how you want to be using a shield MWD fleet. And what I really think I should have been doing in this fleet, even though I did have a speed disadvantage, was just to jank in and out so that I could force Provi to have to continually readjust their position, because there's always a chance that if you turn around, you can potentially turn into them, get under like 10, 20 kilometers. And at that point, your railguns are just going to be applying so much better to them, purely because they have like a 28, 29k optimal range with antimatter, and that's the ammo we were using for the majority of this fight. And beyond that, we probably would have been able to catch out some more ships with webs, and I guess that's a big composition fail on my part, is that I was expecting to probably fight Harbingers on the Providence side, so I didn't have as many webs as I needed to deal with Munnins and to make picks for us when they got out of position. I think if I was to run this fleet again, I'd also definitely not run the web Loki myself. I'd pass that on to someone else and like run a Vulture or something. I don't know. I think there definitely are mistakes in the comp side though. I probably should have loaded it up with a bit more support, but Brutixes are very cheap and it's easy to give out like 40 of them and not wince too much.
I will call you for Warfare.
Yeah, good fights and local guys. Good fights and local guys. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Be ready to warp on me. Tiger Space the Dark.
Yeah, I'm gonna need someone else to take over and get the fleet home safe. Like, get some of these cities back if you can.
Yeah, Quiet can take over. If you guys, can you group up on Quiet, please? There'll be some fleet.
Huge thanks to Quiet Wolf, obviously, here, who took over and volunteered to try and get the fleet home safe. It's always great to have someone who can just deal with that if the FC dies in a fleet and make sure that you're not just constantly feeding stragglers into the people who just fought. And he, through some occult miracle, managed to get our entire logistics core home, using himself in a command destroyer as a scout. Anyway, overall, I guess I'm actually pretty happy with the result that we ended with. We killed about 3.8 billion ISK and we lost 3.6 billion ISK, which is a fairly even trade considering we were, you know, about 1.5 to 1 outnumbered. But really it was just a genuinely good fight. Like, I had a lot of fun with it, and, you know, I really did feel the rust, just because I wasn't able to handle the 2v1 with as much grace as I probably would have, you know, a year and a half, 2 years ago. But that's a good sign, and, you know, I'm happy to be able to just get out there and start to relearn these skills again. And I hope if you're listening, it's either been entertaining or helped you learn something as well. But until next time, fly smart.